All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to another extra of the TMossBoss show. Then today's extra, we're gonna be talking about the stalker that I've been dealing with on Twitter recently, the Talonmation account. But more so just letting him know about himself. I feel like that he definitely needs to get a little bit of an eye opener on who he is as a person. But that's the thing, though. Who is he as a person? Like, what can he say about himself where we already don't know it? You know, because that's the thing with people like him. They'll try to paint this picture like the life that they're living, it's a brand new life. You know, this is a life that's never been lived before. But that's the thing. We know of people like you. We've seen people like you. You'll do any and everything that you possibly can to get any form of attention from somebody. And that's the thing where it's like, you're a grown man. Go get you a job. Go get you a girlfriend. Go do something productive with your life. But that's the thing. People like him, they can't do that. They cannot find not one single person in this world to relate to them. And that's the thing. I can be having the most like darkest, depressed, just, one of those days where I'm just deep in my thought. But it's like, fam, at least I got people I can go to. Who is it that you can go to? Who is this somebody in this world? You don't even have to name drop them. Who is somebody in this world that you can go to? And like, truthfully, like, that's the thing with this extra coming out. Everything that I ask, everything that I talk on, if it's something like a statement that I'm making, please tell me if I'm wrong, all right? But questions, truthfully answer them. No trolling, no none of that. Truthfully answer the question. Who is it in this world that you could go to where you could talk to them about your problems or about, that's the thing. He don't have nobody. That's why he's on the internet trying to tweet me every day. And that's the thing about that, where it's like, I know you have to have at least a little bit of an education to understand when a person blocks you. I'm not seeing the tweets. I don't care for seeing the tweets. But yeah, it's like, I know when I'm getting ready to talk about them, I'm like, all right, let me at least have some content. But that's the thing, though. And I know the funny thing is that, me saying that, like, where I see one of his tweets, now I have something to talk about. I have some. Do you think he could turn around and do the same thing? That's just, and that I'm going to just be just kind of just jumping all over the place, just really breaking him down as a person and stuff. But do you think he has the same capacity, I guess, mental capacity to, like how I'm doing with this extra right now? Do you think he'll be able to do a video talking? Because my thing is this, right? If you're passionate about content creating, the fear, I guess like the, being camera shy, all that stuff at some point in time gets thrown out the window. You have to, I guess, stand up and be an entertaining content creator or just overall a content creator. That's the thing. He can't do that. He doesn't. That's the thing about people like him. They suck at everything in life. There's not one thing in this world that they are good at. And that was the thing. Like, I didn't want to be harsh in this episode. I wanted to at least, like, give him some advice. But I'm like, no, people like him, you have to be harsh. You have to, because it's like, that's the thing. You serve no purpose in this world. Now, I know that might be a little bit of a messed up thing for me to say. I know that is out of character. I usually don't talk like that. But what purpose do you have on this planet? Like, no, please, truthfully answer this question. What purpose do you have on the internet? Well, who is somebody that's proud of you? Who is somebody that's happy for you? Who is somebody where it's like they hope and pray the best for you and stuff? Because it's like, fam, I could just tell by how you carry yourself on the internet, you don't have none of that. Absolutely nothing. When was the last time you even looked in the mirror? Just like took a good look in the mirror and just looked at you as a person. Because and I feel like that he'll try to answer the question. Like, oh, I looked in the mirror, I did that. I'm like, okay, my thing is this though. So if you look in the mirror and you're happy with who you are, how come you don't show your identity on the internet? If you're happy with who you are and you don't have nothing to hide, you don't have nothing, how come you won't show your identity on the internet? Why is it that you have to post other people and claim that that's who you are? And that's the funny thing about it. It's like, you can say whatever it is that you want to say about me. You can tweet me every day. You can, like, any and everything's possible. It don't mean nothing. It absolutely does not mean nothing. Nobody cares about what your tweets are saying about me or other people. Nobody, there is not one single person that is opening up Twitter being like, oh, let me see what Talonmation is talking about. Let me see what, unless it's for content. But other than that, it's like, what fans do you have regarding your content? You as a person, what fans do you have? Nothing. Like, bro, you do not have nothing to your name, to your content creating name, to any and everything that you stand for, any and everything that you're behind. You don't have nothing. And that's the thing where it's like people like that, they need to get hit with that harsh reality, you know? But I feel like his harsh reality is he's going to mess around and cross the wrong somebody, whether it's me, whether it's somebody else, I don't know. But he's going to mess around, cross the wrong somebody. And that's, you know, the thing is this, before I even say, because I think some people may know what I'm getting ready to say, but I just want to reference a movie real quick, all right? Because I feel like it's very fitting for this situation. There's this old 80s movie called Fatal Attraction. Some of you guys may have seen it, some of you guys may have not seen it, but anyways, but no, I mean it's one of those movies where it really, I mean, they should, if there's like a college you know, class like talking about like people's personalities and all that stuff, and at some point in time they got that talking about stalking, I like, or even if I was like, yeah, let's say if I was like a college professor and then yeah, I'm like teaching people about like, you know, the human body and how we are mentally and all that other stuff, and somebody asked me, I'm like, hey, can you explain stalking? I'm like, I feel like I can, you know, start up about like 15 different conversations about what stalking is. Tomorrow, we gonna watch a movie. I'm like, so yeah, I'm like, get your blankets, get your pillows, get comfortable, bring snacks, drinks, whatever. We gonna watch this movie called Fatal Attraction. So for those that don't know, Fatal Attraction is this movie that stars Michael Douglas, and I think the woman's name is Glenn Close. So anyways, Michael Douglas is married, happily married, got a kid, I mean, the whole life, you know? But he got to sleeping around with Glenn Close. And so anyways, Glenn Close, she started developing a little bit of an obsession of Michael Douglas's character, and it got pretty bad. Like let's just say there is definitely some things that had happened in that movie where I was like, wow, like, you know, watching the movie for the first, like watching the movie for like the 100th time, I'm like, that's some crazy stuff, man. I'm like, nah, the things that she was doing, I'm like, that's not normal. That's not normal behavior and things. So, but anyways, it did get to the end of the movie, and I know some people, if you want to watch the movie first and then come back, then you very well can do that, but spoiler alert. So eventually it does get to a point where Glenn Close and Michael Douglas's wife, they have a confrontation. She shows up with a knife trying to stab Michael Douglas's wife. Then it's just one big crazy giant fight in the bathroom. Michael Douglas's wife, you don't really be paying attention to it until like she finally comes back on camera and stuff, but it gets to a point where Michael Douglas and Glenn Close, where they're fighting with each other and stuff. So anyways, Michael Douglas thought he killed her. He thought he drowned her in the bathtub. Turns out she was alive. She come up swinging a knife, started making like this whole like weird like noise and stuff, and then Michael Douglas's wife had got a gun, shot and killed her. And so I think they did have like an alternate ending where she just got arrested, but they went with there's like, that's the accurate ending. It's like at some point in time, you have to get a gun and end this person's life. I think that's what's gonna happen with this guy. If he don't change his life, that's exactly what's gonna happen to him. But that's the thing, where it's like, does he want to change his life? Does he want to be a better person, or does he just wants to continue living in my shadow and just a robot shadow and any and everybody else's shadow? Like, live in your own shadow, stand on your own 2 feet. Stop having to rely on me for a tweet or other people for content and stuff. You're a grown man, bro. Like, it's one of those things where I'm like, I remember when I looked his name up and I seen the videos of him playing with toys. And at that point, I was like, oh, this guy, yeah, it's one of those things in life where I'm like, words can't really describe him because it's probably stuff that he's already done heard. We're telling him things that he already knows. Not so much as like he knows, like he thought about it himself and did the research and got diagnosed and all that other stuff. No, this is stuff that people, we can call, look, the thing is this, we can insult this guy. We can say any and everything's about him. It's stuff that he's already heard. We're not getting through to him, and we most likely never will. The only thing that's going to probably get through to him is a bullet, you know? So, and that's the thing. I know people will probably be all like, oh, that's messed up for me to say, but I'm like, fam, I've seen, besides that being a fictional movie, I've heard too many situations where, yeah, you know, it's like, I'm pretty sure the thing is this, that with that movie, Fatal Attraction, even though it's fictional, that's one thing that I learned about movies is that unless it's like a zombie movie or if it's like a superhero movie, but if it's movies where it's just based on like just some like real world activities and stuff. Like there ain't nothing like, you know, fictional about it. Like I guess like the story is fictional, but it's not like, you know, like fantasy fiction and stuff. Like it's just like just a random stuff like that. It's probably been based off of something, you know. So yeah, or it's like they probably a documentary where it's like, oh, real life Fatal Attraction and stuff, where yeah, it's same situation, you know. So yeah, that's the thing, because you know, I feel like that with this guy, like that's what he wants. That's what he wants for himself. Like he doesn't want to be in this world no more, and it's messed up that he thinks like that. But I genuinely believe that that's how he feels, and he's like, oh, I'm just gonna keep doing something until it's just something happens, and I'm like, yeah, it's people like that where I'm like, hey, look, if you thinking along those lines, think like that to yourself. Don't get me involved. I don't want to be bothered with you. I don't want to be your friend. I don't want none of that. And I'm like, go away. Like, just leave me be. Like, let me be. Leave me alone. But yeah, it's people like him where it's like, you know, you can say that. It ain't gonna mean nothing. It ain't gonna change anything. So, but I am going to do a podcast episode where I kind of just give out some advice on stalking, you know, tell some stories and stuff, and then yeah, you know, just warn people the dangers of dealing with people like this, you know. And it don't help that social media, it's like they're trying to get rid of like blocking and stuff. I mean, YouTube got it where it's like you hide users from your channel, and Twitter is like, oh, you can block a person but they still gonna see your profile, that type of stuff. I'm like, yeah, social media definitely needs to be a little bit more strict when it comes to stuff like that, because I know Instagram and TikTok, they because I don't even think he's active on those platforms. I think he's just only active on the ones where he can see my content and stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, you're a grown man, like, and you're worried about what another grown man is doing. But it's like, you'll try to call me out on some stuff, but it's like, fam, look at you. That's the thing, you don't want to, because it's like, you know what you're gonna see. And so that's, I'm like, yeah, bruh. But anyways, but yeah, like I was saying, I am going to do an episode talking on that stuff. But anyways, with that being said, talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Stay tuned for the next extra. Like, subscribe, viewing this on YouTube. Follow or subscribe, viewing this on the podcast streaming service. And peace.